Hey everybody, it's Jochen Hayden and I'm back with another tutorial, and today I'm going to be talking about command line switches. The reason that I'm talking about this is because the program that I previously made a video on about a program called SeaBee that creates custom shortcuts for you that optimizes the game. Well, that program recently died. Something happened. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's the SeaBee app right here. Like I said, I previously did a video on this. When you open it up, uh, because of the way they designed the software, you have to always check for an update before it will launch the software, right? But here's what happens when you click check for update. Nothing happens. Here's why. The whole site that hosts this app, as well as the download for this app, has gone down. I've tried unsuccessfully to contact the creator, Corvar. He has not been on the forums for 4 years. So I don't think he's going to answer my PM. I don't have an email address for him. So for all intent and purposes, SeaBee is now dead until further notice. All right. But I'm going to teach you guys, you new players who don't know about this yet, how to make your own special custom command line without needing SeaBee. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about command line switches here. And here are my resources for this video. I have this README file from the main game directory. I also have some really good forum posts. Here's one from Chris21Wen. I'll put links to all of this in the video description so you can read this yourself. And my own personal experience. Those are my references for this video. So what is a command line? Well, put simply, it is a way for you to launch the game with some modifications that make it run better. And the number one thing you can do for this game to make it run better on your computer is to customize the command line, and you're going to do it with the regular shortcut to launch the game. It's going to go in this target area here, but we'll get to that. Let me first explain what the command lines are and what they do for you. Okay, so I've got this little readme text file here. I'll try to make it bigger for you guys. These are a list of the bulk of the command lines that are available in this game. There may be a couple that I'm missing, but these are the most important ones, okay? Again, I've already showed you the references for where I got these from. Now let me explain what they are, and then I'll show you how to use them. Okay, so from the top, we've got one called Dual. I don't use this. I think it was made for PCs much older than the ones we have in 2023, i.e. a Core 2 Duo. That's like, I don't know, 2008. Single CPU Start. This one is relevant, but I don't use it. SingleCpuOrders. Now, if you want, you can read this description for what it does. To me, this is a bunch of TLDR. I don't really care what it does. I just care if it works. And I'm going to tell you what I think is going to work for you in 2023. This is one that we're going to look at harder. skipVideo. This one's pretty easy, right? Prevents opening of that video every time you start the game. I don't want to watch it every time. CPU number. This is another switch that I use. Again, if you want to read about what it does, read it here. Basically, you're going to put a CPU number 1 through 4. I use 2. It seems to work great. You can experiment on your own, but I use CPU 2. Multi-audio. I don't use this because I think it is not necessary for the computers that we use right now. All right, DD_SW. This switch I do use, and it does seem to help the game with interface lag and glitching. If you want to know what it does, read it here. I'm just telling you that this works. Colorblind support. I don't use this. deepColor. I do use this. It says it's intended for full screen mode. I find that it works good for the windowed mode that I play on. altFont. It gives the game a new little in-game font, and I think it looks great. I use it. So now we have windowed mode. I'll tell you right now, guys, I play this game in windowed mode. I have tried it in full screen, and I find that it does not run well, especially if you like to alt-tab out. The game gets really squirrely. It crashes. Individual results may vary. Maybe yours works great. It never has worked good for me. So I run windowed mode, but I'll show you what that looks like. I think it's pretty cool. So, a little gin and tonic here. We have windowed mode. Then we have this one, which is what I use. Windowed mode with daily autosaves. So it's kind of a combination of two different things in one. WD. And then you have windowed mode with weekly autosaves. I do not use this. Then we have some options for full screen. Again, I do not play in full screen. I don't vouch for it. If you want to know about full screen stuff, talk to somebody else. I don't think it works well. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to be discussing any full screen anything. Okay, a -R. This shows roads. I don't use this because basically what this does is when you launch your map, it will show all the road lines on the map like this. Watch. See all these red lines and stuff? The game will start like this, and you can just toggle it on and off with the R key on your keyboard anyway, so I don't use it because this is a little bit of a clutter. I'd rather turn it on when I need it, so I don't recommend that one. Autosave, you can obviously use that if you want. Archive, I think this one's very important. I use this. This will automatically archive all your data reports in an archive folder in the main game directory. A lot of programs like Tracker, a Combat Reporter, look for stuff in the archive folder, so I do recommend you use this one. Fixed Art does not use rotating images. I don't use this. And then we already talked about skipVideo, right? I could probably take that out up here. I already discussed skipVideo. Now, here's one that you won't read about too often. CD. So I discovered this when I was learning how to switch between 1 and 2 day turns. CD enables additional in-game powers, typically driven by the Japanese player, who's always player 1. And it allows you to change some settings in the campaign, mid-campaign. For example, some of these game options, if you have -CD enabled, these become editable to you during your play by email, for example. So I have a whole nother video on this, but to make this really brief, if I'm playing 1 day turns with my opponent and we mutually agree on switching to 2 day turns, as a Japanese player with -CD enabled in that command line, I can switch these turn cycles, and now it turns into that right in the middle of my play by email. If in case we decide we want to go to 2 day turns, right? You can do that if you have CD on. You cannot do that if you don't. It just won't be. It'll be grayed out. So I like to use CD in my command lines. So now, what is all this command line stuff? Well, here's an example of one right here. I'm going to zoom out. This one down here, I know it's getting a little small. I'll put this in the video description. This is the command line that I use for my game. And if you have a pretty high-end computer with a i7, lot of memory, a really good graphics card, I would recommend you try this out and see how you like it. You can just copy and paste this, and I'm going to show you where you copy and paste it into. All right. So once you figure out what switches you want to use, this is where you're going to put them in. You're going to go to your desktop and find your Warner Pacific shortcut, and then you right-click on it and go to Properties. Then that's going to bring up this the shortcut properties, right? And where your command lines are going to be entered is in the target line. So you noticed a little quotation mark here, right? That's where your actual game path starts. The quotation mark has to be there, okay? So you're going to put in your full game pathway, all right? If you installed yours differently than mine, you need to make sure it's pointing to the main game directory, all right? Which is basically going to be okay, pointing to the exe. Let me rephrase that. It's going to look like something like this. Do you see the Warner Pacific exe file? Let me find it. Oh, where did I put that thing? Why am I not finding it? Oh, duh, it's right here. The exe. Wherever this file is at is where your destination needs to point to. So a little disclaimer here. You notice in mine, it says beta 2. Beta 2 is because I'm using the 2.6 Bravo game version. Okay, if you're using 2.7b, 2.6a, anything but 2.6b, you would just omit this beta 2 and just skip that part and put in the rest of the game path. If you're using 2.6 Bravo, which is the beta, the 2.6 beta, which the bulk of the community still uses, you would have beta 2 in here. Again, for your whatever game version you're using, it'll be depending on that. But let's not get detracted from what we're really talking about. As soon as you put in your path here, your target path, you end it with quotation marks, and then you start putting in your command line switches, okay? And if you just copy and paste what I put in the video description, you can just go in here, all right? You can go into yours. You could even delete it and then just Control V, paste in a command line, and then you would hit apply, all right? And that's it. You just add in all the switches with the little dash in front and one space in between each switch, and that will set up your game. Let me show you how that works. So I actually have a few different launchers, right? And these all point to the same exe, but they launch the game differently. You know what? Hold on. Before I go any further, I want to point this out because you notice I have two different ones, right? Well, it's because of resolution, and I think I kind of glossed over this point here. I need to discuss it. Let me see. Where did I put it at? You know what? I didn't even mention it. So let's do something on the fly here. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I glossed over something that was very, very important. The PX and the PY. So the game's standard default window size is a 1024 by 768, which is incredibly small if you're playing on a modern computer. My monitor is 4K, so that would make the game look really, really tiny. So they gave you the option here to change the size of the game window. So let me put this F in here because you kind of need that to make this work. For this to work, you would put a pixel size. This is your X dimension, and this is your horizontal, this is your vertical. And you would put it in here, for example, 1920 by 1080. This is what the command line would look like. If you scroll down here to mine, you'll see that I have it down here, PXF 1920, PYF 1080. So that would make a 1920 by 1080 window on my computer for my windowed version of the game. But here's a catch. I have two, right? So one command line is this one, the 1080p. So it looks like this. Okay, you'll notice here that I have 1920 by 1080. Well, okay, so some background. My monitor is 4K, but I run magnification. If you oh, that's not it. Right here, display settings. I run 125% magnification. So, correction, 150 because I have two monitors. On my main monitor, it's 4K, but I run 150% magnification, so things don't look microscopic. So this is what it would look like on my monitor with 4K at 150. This is the 1080p launcher windowed mode. Are you ready? Okay, do you see how that does not take up the whole screen? I use this when I stream or when I am recording with OBS, my combat replays. I do it so that there's no border. It's just window because I have my OBS set up to record just this whole thing right here. It would look kind of like this. Are you ready? Check it out. Boom. See how there's no window? See how there's no window? You only see the game. So I use this launcher for just this when I'm recording videos. All right, hold on. This is what it looks like normally. Now, when I'm done recording videos, I actually prefer to take up more real estate on my monitor. So I have this shortcut here, War in the Pacific wide. So all the same switches, but the pixels are different. And this is something that I dialed in on my own. I used the more or less the same kind of 4K aspect ratio, but I dialed it in so it fits almost perfectly in my screen at 150% magnification. Do you see this? 2555 by 1386. This is what it looks like here. All right, now do you see it? Now it's taking up almost the entire border of my game, right? And if I go down to my taskbar and turn that off, I have almost a borderless version of the game here. Isn't that cool? I use this for the tutorial videos and like my after action report recordings. And let me show you what this looks like now. Boom. Now I look at my almost, so what you guys are seeing here is what I'm seeing. My entire 4K 47-inch monitor is taken up by War in the Pacific, and it looks awesome. Guys, I wish you could see it from my angle. I literally have like a 4 foot across, 3.5 foot across nothing but Warner Pacific in front of me right now, and it looks great. And the command lines allow me to do this. Now, it points to the same EXE. So this will launch the same game, the same turns, the same everything. The only difference is that the window's bigger. It's the same game. It's not even in a different directory. So you could ostensibly have 5 different shortcuts with all different command lines, and it would be as easy as wrong button. It'd be easy as doing this: Control C paste. Now I can make another one here and go mid-size, for example, right? And I'll just play with this for fun. Watch this. Let's go into the properties of this thing, and we'll change the resolution to something else. Let's go 2000 by 1000. Let's see what that does. I'm going to hit apply. Now I'm going to launch it. Watch. Do you see how it's bigger than the 1920 by 1080, but it's not quite as big as the other one? And do you see how it looks kind of widescreen stretched out? Because I made it, the aspect ratio is not correct. It's 2:1, which is not what a 4K monitor runs. But here's what it would look like in game. A little funky, right? Not really tall, but really wide. But hey, if that's what you want to play on, or if that's the kind of monitor you're running and that's what you wanted it to do, that's how you can adjust it. And it's basically limitless. You can go into this and change the resolution to whatever you want it to be, whatever fits your needs. And the game won't stretch out. It won't get all pixelated. It just makes the viewing window wider or smaller. So you really can't go wrong with this, guys. And it's the command lines that allow you to do this. So I know I talked about a lot here. If you have any other questions, please ask me in the video comments. Post on my Discord, whatever you name it, I'll be happy to help you. To circle back to why we do this to begin with, the game is not optimized for modern computers. Okay, this game was built back in 2007, 2008, when computers are not what they are today. So believe it or not, it runs like crap out the gate. If you don't have these command lines and you're running this game in 2023, you may find that it stutters really bad, it crashes a lot, it doesn't look good, it doesn't feel good. It's these command lines that are going to make it run good for you in 2023 and on. All right, SingleCpuOrders, CPU2. I use these, and these are probably some of the most important switches that I have. This is what makes it run good on my i7 12000 series processor. Also the where is it at? The DDSW. That's also going to help you a lot for performance. Okay, but again, there's other benefits to these command lines besides performance, like getting rid of the video, nicer font, daily saves, the custom resolution. That's all the stuff you get by putting in these command lines here. So I hope I helped you with this a little bit. I think that's all I got for now. If you have any questions, again, you know how to contact me. Discord's the best place, but you can just reply to this comment. Hit me up on the forums. My username is Banana Convention, because don't ask why, but I go by Banana Convention on the Matrix forums, but I'm Jochen Hayden everywhere else. I know it's kind of weird. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want any help, I'm happy to help you. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys on the next one.